So, our next presenter is Brooke Hansen from Florida. Destination Stewardship in the US and Serbia, case studies for creating sustainable tourism platforms. The stage is yours. And please just introduce yourself.
I will do that. Aloha kakahiaka. Anyone know what that means? Good morning in native Hawaiian. I spent 16 years working and teaching on the big island of Hawaii and spent a lot of time working with Kanaka Maoli tour guides, native Hawaiians. If we were in Florida right now, I would start with a land acknowledgement, and we would acknowledge the indigenous people who came before us, which would be the Tocobaga Indians and the current Seminole tribe of Florida. But we're in Estonia, so I'm not sure who that was, so we'll just honor our pagan ancestors today. I'm going to try to do this in 10 minutes and tell you about 2 destination stewardship platforms in 2 different countries. So let's see how that goes in 10 minutes. And we started both of these programs basically from zero and have tried to figure out, how do you build this? Where's the manual? There's no manual, so I'm trying to write the manual for Serbia and Florida. Kind of a strange occurrence, and it happened because I had a student from Serbia who came to the University of South Florida to learn more about sustainability. And Marko Bajic and I became fast friends, and I've ended up working in Serbia, and he works in Florida. And we're using this dual process of creating both of the destination stewardship plans to inform each other. You know the stage, COVID-19. Build back better? I don't think so. Build forward better. I don't want to go back, do you? So we're trying to do something different here. I like to change that around a little bit. And luckily, we've seen increased interest in destination stewardship plans, and we heard about that this morning, too. Of course, our efforts should be aligned with the UN SDGs, so we can have a common platform. I've taken a lot of inspiration from the Hawaii Tourism Authority, which dismantled their destination marketing organization and resurrected it like a phoenix from the ashes into a destination stewardship organization. They've created destination management action plans for all the islands based on regenerative tourism. So we're using that as one of our guides for our project in Serbia and in Florida. And of course, the work of the GSTC and Green Destinations has been exemplary. The focus of World Tourism Day last year was on destination stewardship. And we have this great publication. If you haven't checked it out, look at the Destination Stewardship Report, articles from all over the world. And here's one that I wrote last year based on our work in Florida and trying to build this plan for our state. I've looked at lots of models. I went to the GSTC conference last year in Spain. And I'm trying to piece together, where's the manual for how to do this? Because it's very complicated. How do we incorporate sustainability criteria and certifications? Which ones should we use? Who should we go with to certify our destination? It's led to some pretty interesting places. So those are our basic questions. The GSTC recommends that you have a coherent body to lead your efforts. That body is this body in the state of Florida. And this is unusual. I'm an academic. I am a professor in the Muma College of Business at the University of South Florida, working in the School of Hospitality and Tourism Management. And I decided, we have to do this. Our state is not exemplary when it comes to sustainability, and I want to transform the whole thing. So I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Marco's had it a little bit easier. They have a Ministry of Tourism to do this with. We don't have a Ministry of Tourism in the state of Florida. And we're, of course, using the Tourism for SDGs platform, SDG 12, one of my favorites. We've got to be responsible in our consumption and production. 11.4 is also an SDG that we work in, and my colleague, Dr. Laura Harrison, is there in the third row, and she'll talk all about that one in the afternoon session on nature and climate. So I use some of these slides when I give presentations for industry because they have no idea what I'm talking about. I get all the hotels and restaurants together like, Brooke, what is this thing you want us to do? Well, I want us to be stewards of our state, and I have to explain to them, how does this work? Who develops this? It could be a Ministry of Tourism. We don't have one. It could be a trade organization, a nonprofit organization, a government agency. In the state of Florida, we have the Florida Department of Environmental Protection running our Florida Green Lodging Program, which is our state-approved certification for hotels. Certifications can be broad-based. They can include all businesses, or they can be specific to tourism. B Corp is one of those. Patagonia, Ben & Jerry's, they're B Corps. B Corps are aligned with the SDGs. Certifications could relate to a sector of tourism. We just heard about the CLIA. Certifications could relate to a component, a building, food, energy. Certifications could be for a destination. And there are some examples. I work quite a bit with U.S. Green Building Council, and we're really pushing hard on LEED certification for hotels. Certifications can be process-based, performance-based, pass-fail, have multiple levels, be first, second, or third-party verified. So you can imagine when I explain all this to industry, they're like, no, thank you. Please move on. And of course, we know our green destination certification and 84 criteria. And we start saying these things, it turns people off. So we can't lead with, oh, there are gonna be dozens and dozens of criteria you're gonna have to fulfill. We have to try to break this down. So Marco and I speak frequently, a couple times a week, and we've been doing this for 3 years, trying to figure out how to launch this in our locations. Where would you begin? Would you certify the whole country of Serbia or the whole state of Florida, or would you pick a smaller location to pilot? Which body are you gonna choose? EarthCheck, Green Destinations, another one? These have been very complicated questions. How are we gonna fund it? I'm an academic, I don't have any money to fund this. I'm trying to, scrape some pennies out of my pocket to figure out how to get it started and get buy-in so we can really fund it. Then we have to build capacity, of course, and include all of our stakeholders. And we're using the comparative approach from our experiences in the 2 places to move this forward. In Serbia, we started with a lot of meetings. So here we are with the Tourism Office of Serbia, the GSTC. You might recognize Randy Durbin there if you work with GSTC. And we have UNDP in the room too, UN Development Program. So for Serbia, these are the overarching goals of the program that Marco has put together with his colleagues. Strengthen international relations. We're actually doing this through the universities with US Embassy grants focused on sustainable tourism, just to get the pathways going and the ideas. We're assessing our sustainable tourism practices in Serbia. Great assets there, UNESCO sites, UNDP. And we want to use sustainability, of course, as a driver in the build forward better period as we're coming out of the pandemic. And we've decided we're going to build it regionally. We can't do the whole country, we can't do the whole state. Let's pick a place. So it's Sombor in Serbia. And I'll talk more about that in a second. And we definitely want to align with global trends and platforms like the UN SDGs and the Glasgow Declaration on Climate Action and Tourism. Here's some pictures from our grant trip that we took last November to Serbia with our USF faculty and students, all jamming out on sustainable tourism every day and everywhere we went. Why does Serbia need a sustainable tourism development plan? They are really underperforming compared to their competitors in neighboring countries who really are their allies and their collaborators, not their competitors. They have incredible underpromoted assets. A group from the US noted this and thought, wow, if more people from the US knew what was in Serbia, they would want to come see it. It's really unbelievable. And of course, we want to use this as a key driver for recovery. And the multiplier effects from tourism go into every industry, every field, so it's a great place to start. And the current status of the program, we've got the Ministry of Tourism involved, the President, the Chief of Staff, and we've developed a sustainable tourism plan. It's been drafted. It's quite long. It needs to be edited down a little bit, but it's been drafted. Key stakeholders have been brought on board. The GSTC just finished their trainings about 2 weeks ago in Serbia, training everyone, getting everyone up to speed on what it is involved with this platform and how it will move forward. So that's all happening. Also, 2 programs related to river tourism have been launched, Sail Through Serbia and Awake the Danube, all related to sustainable tourism, all aligned with the UN SDGs. And the pilot in Sombor is underway. It is the greenest city in Serbia and part of the European Amazon. I helped to draft the Sustainable Tourism Pledge between UNDP and the Port Governance Agency. You know, pledges aren't everything, and we critique pledges, but pledges are a good place to start, so I'm kind of a fan. And the review of possible certifying bodies is underway now, to be determined, and we're coordinating our efforts. There's Sombor, and there they are in Sombor, signing and commemorating the Declaration on Sustainable Tourism. So it's a good start. In Florida, my goal is to establish a Destination Stewardship Council so I can get all the key stakeholders on board that we need to do this, integrate our dozen university programs training people in hospitality and tourism. If we're not training the upcoming professionals in this, we're not going to get there. So I think it's a good place to leverage. We're assessing our sustainable tourism practices. We do have the Florida Green Lodging Program. We have 10,000 hotels in the state of Florida. 324 are Florida Green Lodging. So we have a little way to go there. And we're going to begin regionally too. In Pinellas County, we're going to work on 1 county. And we need this for lots of reasons, over tourism. Has anyone been to Florida? Raise your hands if you've been to Florida. Okay, so you may have experienced some of these issues. And so we have a pilot program with Keep Pinellas Beautiful, which is a branch of Keep America Beautiful. And we've got the Hospitality Eco Partnership Program, and our goal is to expand to all of the Keep Florida Beautiful affiliates. You can see we can cover the state if we can use this to leverage our destination management plan. So we do education, we do beach cleanups, we offer eco tours, we do social media promotion and trainings, and we decided to promote a menu approach of certifications where people could choose what would fit best for them. And so far, we onboarded hotels, and then the pandemic hit, so we're rebooting and reaching out right now to 300 hotels and 600 restaurants. So we are moving ahead here. And the project in Serbia will move forward, and a certification body will be chosen for that project. And we just got a second grant from the US Embassy to continue our collaborations. And we're going to move forward with our Florida project as well. And we are having a workshop next week with those said 300 hotels and 600 restaurants. So there's really no one size fits all. We've had to wade our way through this whole process. I wish there was a manual. Maybe I'll write one when this is all done. So we're only 3 years in. Stay tuned for, you know, the next iteration of what's happening with our programs. Thank you.
Thanks. Wow, a lot of work to be done. Super, thanks.